Hello and welcome to the Mindset Bloomcast with Mallory. I am your host, Mallory McGary. I am the founder and CEO of Beautifully Blooming. You can find me at beautifullyblooming.com, email me at mallory@beautifullyblooming.com, or find me on Instagram at Mallory McGary. You are listening to the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, radio, TV, and podcast, the #1 internet talk network. Welcome to today's episode. I am so excited to have you guys here. This is stemming off of last week's episode of Becoming the Leading Lady in Your Life. We're going to talk about 3 simple ways we can start to shine in our lives and start to really emulate stepping into that leading lady in our life. And this has been in practice for me over the last 5-6 years as I have gone through my business journey, gone through different ups and downs in my business, different experiences in my life after getting married, after birthing both of my children. I've had to kind of re-go through this same process again and again. And it feels like every place I move, new place I'm in, new workspace, new work environment, I need to step into this a little bit more. That just helps me to shine, really know ground myself in my authenticity, helps me really know what my passion is. That when you get asked those questions of what makes you unique, or how are you different, or what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, even down to the what do you like to do question, the one question I seem to still constantly avoid, even though I know that I at least have the foundation and the framework to be able to stand and be authentic and give an answer in that, and not feel like I have to avoid all questions, all things that pertain to me as an individual. People are trying to get to know me. People are trying to understand that I don't have to shy away from those questions, because I can answer from a place of authenticity and a place of honesty that is from me, that I know how to reach what I want to be. And I'm coming to terms with a lot of my strengths and really utilizing those. I am also noticing my weaknesses and starting to develop those, and allowing others to fill in where that gap is not going to be made by me, that it's something that I'm not able to really make a strength or focus on to make a strength. So I rely on others to do that. So we're jumping into this today with eyes wide open, an open mind, an open heart, and stepping into a place that is going to be the basis of a foundation for the life that you want. It's going to be the basis of that foundation that you're trying to create, that will keep you grounded. It's a place you can come back to over and over again, that you can be grounded in yourself, that if something starts to trigger you a little bit, you can back up and sit on this foundation that you're building, and go through these same steps that are not going to be ones that take a long time, but you're going to be able to recenter yourself, reground yourself, and really find that authenticity. And as new things pop up, new chapters in your life appear, it's something to keep going back to. Like I said, I went through it when I got married. When I first got married, I had to go through this. And then when I had my son, I had to go through this. At the same time, I've talked many times about me being birthed at the same time as my son was birthed into this world, that I had to go through this journey again after he was in this world, earthside, and then again as my daughter became earthside, that I needed to step into more of what this person was, because the longer I found that I waited, it wasn't for a long time. I thought I could deal with it and go through it and still find this. As I had just gotten married, a couple years in, it finally hit me that I really needed to do it. And especially before I started to add children to my family. And then as my son was born and a couple months into his life, that I needed to take a step back and reevaluate now the person I wanted to be and the person that I was still in motherhood, who I was as a woman and who I was as a mom, and how the two can be together at once. And through this journey, um, I've gotten a little bit better at noticing when I start to feel a little bit, oh, this is a new chapter. I don't know how I'm going to feel about this chapter, but really soaking in that chapter and taking these 3 simple steps that have propelled me forward. So we're going to start with step number 1, and that is something that I have taken from things that I knew, and then I also have really good colleagues of mine that talk about this a lot, and it's something that is a foundation that I have found that is really good in creating that solid foundation, in finding out who you are as a person. And that simple step number 1 is to date yourself. And it seems weird to say that, to go on a date with yourself, but remember when you're little and growing up, that the world really was your oyster. Nobody really ever told you that you couldn't do something, or that it was too far to reach and imagine, that it was too big of a dream, that anything was accomplishable, anything was possible, and those limitations of impossible weren't on you, and you dreamed everything you could be. And it was the simple things of, well, I really like to ride my bike, and I'm really into bike riding, and so naturally I'm going to be a cyclist. And then I really like ice cream, so I'm going to be an ice cream store owner, or develop an ice cream flavor, whatever that looked like. And nothing was impossible. But then there were things that you also found that you didn't like. Of maybe you found out that you don't really like hamburgers, or or French fries, or something like that. Or maybe it's, for me, I found out I really didn't like snakes. Snakes are not my favorite thing in the world, and so that is something I knew I would never like. Still to this day, I don't like them. But you find those things, and it's not necessarily dating yourself, but you're starting that process. You're dating yourself. You're finding those things that you really like, finding those things that you don't really like. So now, grown up, fast forward, that now you're able to date yourself. Try those things that you used to once like. Maybe you refine that you don't like them anymore, and they don't give you that same passion and fire in your heart, which is totally fine. All of us change and evolve as we get older, and different experiences in our life. We're always growing, we're always evolving. So maybe you used to really like a certain place to eat, and you go there again and find out you do not like it anymore. It doesn't hold the same appeal, and that's totally fine. But maybe you've also wanted to, you go back to some place that you really liked, and you still fall in love with it. It still finds that passion, starts that fire in your heart. That's something that is authentic to you. That is something that you like to do. It could be a place to eat. It could be an activity. Maybe you really just wanted to try something new and really see if that really called to your soul. Try it. Go on a date with yourself and go try it, and see if you like it or not. See if it serves your purpose or not. See if it lights that passion up. It may and it may not, but that's okay. You're in this phase of figuring out what it is that you yourself actually likes to do, what you yourself really love to explore and talk about and experience. It's the things that make you really feel like you're whole again and fill up that cup. We've talked about that in a couple episodes of filling up your own cup. These are the things that are going to fill up that cup. These are the things that are just yours, that you can share them if you want, but they are just things that are just for you, that fill up so much of your cup that make you become a better person. They make you become a better mom, a better spouse, partner, significant other, whatever it is in your life, you become better at it because you are fulfilled, you are full. So step number one, date yourself. Try anything, go backwards, go forwards. It's okay. Find the things in the past that used to light you up and really figure those out. Maybe they do still fill up your cup, maybe they don't. New adventures, new things to try. Maybe they fill up your cup, maybe they don't. And it's okay that it's fully trial and error. You may have to go on several dates with yourself to figure out what that is. I've gone on plenty of dates with myself to figure out all of the things that I like to do. And I still do that thing because I'm always looking for new ways to fill up my cup and to really make myself full. So number one, date yourself. Number two is something that you'll hear a lot in more of a business setting, especially if entrepreneurials hear this a lot from different mentors and podcasts I follow. I do hear this a lot, and I hear it a little bit in the motherhood space, but not as much as I think we should take care of this. But number two is to take a break. Shut everything down for a minute. Walk away from screaming kids, from a sink full of dishes, from your computer, from separating that time from, if you're a working parent, from work to home life. For stay-at-home parents, maybe it's just for taking that break from screaming kids and being that referee in the fight for a little bit. It's okay to take a break. There's nothing wrong with taking a break. It is filling back up your cup. It is getting your sanity back when you feel like you were at the last possible thread. It's getting your sanity back. It's getting that excitement back into your life. It's breathing life back into the moment, back into your day, back into your soul of, I've got this, I can do this. I just have so much happening in my brain right now that I can't take one more thing or I'm going to explode. Step back, take the break, breathe in. Whatever that break looks like for you, it's okay to take the break. And maybe your break is to go to the grocery store without kids. Sometimes taking a break also involves what I call a sub-step to this, is also involves asking for help and saying, maybe it's to your partner or your significant other and saying, can you watch the kids? Maybe it's asking a neighbor saying, I need somebody to watch my kids for X amount of time. Just stepping away. And if that's impossible for you in your circumstance, or if it's really hard for you to do, the one thing I do when I am kind of at my wit's end and it came on really fast is, and how I take a break is, I put myself in a timeout, and I put that in air quotes. But it's usually I separate myself. We're in the same room because I have a toddler, I have a 2-year-old. But we're in the same vicinity of a room, and I'm at one end and he's at the other doing something else and playing independent play, and I am doing something else in my own space. We're in the same space, but we're also in our individual space, which allows me to reground myself, allows me to take a breath, reset into that moment. And some people may take extra time to take a break. Sometimes it's just a short minute. I would be lying if I said some days I need a longer space of that break and other days I don't need as much. It just kind of depends on how the day goes and what's going on, but don't be afraid to take a break. Don't be afraid to turn the D&D on your phone. Do not disturb and let it be. Unplug, put your phone on airplane mode, whatever that is, unplug from whatever is going to overstimulate you or just be that one thing that pushes you over the edge. Take a break, regroup, reset, go forward knowing that you are making the best you possible in all of that. So step number 1, date yourself. Step number 2, take a break with a subset of asking for help if needed. And if it is something that you are willing to do, ask for help, but definitely take a break, whatever that looks like for you. And our last step, this is one that I've kind of touched on in a couple different interviews I've done over the last little bit, but it is one of the hardest things, I think, as women. It is the hardest thing to say. And it shouldn't be, but it is. And there's a lot of fear of judgment when you say these things, when you say this particular thing, and that people are going to just rip you apart for saying this, and that it's just judgment's just going to flow. And when it shouldn't, because it's actually really healthy for you to be able to say it. We've talked about boundaries before. We've talked about expectations. We've even talked about this particular thing in previous episodes, but being able to just say no. Just say no. Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? It's hard for me. So if it's hard for me, I know it's hard for a lot of people to say no. I'm working on it. It's still a work in progress. But it is something I'm conscious of, and I'm consciously trying to be able to just say no to things that don't serve me, no to things that are not really in my wheelhouse, no to things that are not going forward into gonna propel me forward, and just take bandwidth of things that time that I don't have and that I really don't want to give time to. But the one caveat to saying no, just know that no itself is a complete sentence. Whether it has a period or an exclamation point after it, it is a complete sentence. You have no need to justify why it's a no. You don't have to say, no, because I have, or no, this is why. You don't have to justify it. You can just say no, and that is 100% okay. There's no reason to why that the explanation needs to be given. And this is something I've found over the last couple of weeks. I focused a lot on this over the last couple of weeks, but as I've said no, that it's a natural instinct for me to give an explanation as to why I can't, or why I won't, or why I said no in the first place. And to make me feel justified, and to really say, like, I'm saying no because I can't take this on, or I'm saying no because I don't like it, or I'm saying no because this is just not going to serve me and I don't have time for it. When in reality, we're downplaying our no, we're downplaying our own strength and what really resonates with us. We're downplaying our own ability to stand up for ourselves in saying no. But it goes back to compliments as well, in talking about that I want to say it was like three episodes ago, of being able to say thank you, but. This is on the other hand of saying no, but, or no, because. And where does it get you? When you say no because, or have the justification or the qualifier behind it, you have more of the ability to be talked back into why you should do that thing, or why you should say yes in the first place, rather than just saying no. Know that no itself is a complete sentence. There's no need for a justification. So we're going to go through the 3 steps really quick. Date yourself, take a break, and just say no. We're going to have a quick commercial break, and then we're going to come back for some examples on how to use this. You are listening to the Mindset Bloomcast with Mallory. I am your host, Mallory McGary. I am the CEO and founder of Beautifully Blooming. You can find me at beautifullyblooming.com. Email me at mallory@beautifullyblooming.com or find me on Instagram at Mallory McGary. You are listening to the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, radio, TV, and podcast, the #1 internet talk network. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Mindset Bloomcast with Mallory. I am your host, Mallory McGary. I am the founder and CEO of Beautifully Blooming. You can find me at beautifullyblooming.com. Email me at mallory@beautifullyblooming.com or find me on Instagram and chat with me there at Mallory McGary. You are listening to the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, radio, TV, and podcast, the #1 internet talk network. Welcome back. We're going to recap the last half of the episode and talk about the 3 steps of how you can shine in your life today, start stepping into that leading lady role that you are destined to play in your life. And #1 is to date yourself. #2 is to take a break. And #3 is to just say no. So we're going to talk about a few little practical things that you can do to utilize these things and how it will play into your leading lady role in your life. So stepping into these steps and these practical ways you can use them. One, some of these, they can all fit in together at some point. And it doesn't have to be everything all the time, and you don't have to do all of these big things, but taking a break and dating yourself can be something that you're doing together. Maybe it's going to try something new. You're taking a break from your kids, but you're trying something new. You're dating yourself. You're taking yourself on a date. Use it for whatever you can. Find places you want to go. Find things that really speak to you that you would really like to try. Find other things that used to let you up, that you feel like used to be in your space and that you really enjoyed. Revisit them both. Revisit all of those, whatever that looks like, and take yourself on a date. Go try it. Taking a break could be part of that. Taking a break could be putting yourself in what I call mom time out for a minute, maybe 5 minutes. Maybe taking a break is taking a luxurious 20-minute bubble bath that has nothing to do with having your mind keep going about your to-do list or the things that have to get done or what you're missing by taking this bubble bath. Taking that 20 minutes to just sit in the water and just be. Maybe that's taking your break. Maybe taking a break is mowing your lawn if you have a yard, taking care of your flowers, whatever that looks like for you. Something where you can just shut yourself out of whatever's happening and reground yourself, recenter yourself into who you are. Doing something that lights your soul on fire is also a good way to take a break, because you're filling up your cup. You're filling up from that space where you can give more energy to your family, your friends, your community, and you are fully prepared and invested in yourself to give that gift to yourself, because you're gifting that to the rest of everybody outside of that. You're gifting your full cup and your full energy to those outside of you and to those around you. So if taking a break is filling up your cup, is filling up your cup with whatever you can to reset, reground, and move forward. #3, just saying no. Practice. That's all that takes is practice. Just do it. Kind of like Nike's slogan, right? They aren't telling you that you have to train to be a runner. You just run. You just start. So it's the same thing with just saying no, is just do it. Just say no. Just practice. It will feel awkward at first. I speak from experience in this, and from a couple of clients of mine that have tried it. It feels awkward at first, and don't let the justification come out. Don't let the no but come out. I have a client of mine who has said no and then pinches her lips together so that she doesn't give the justification until it becomes practice, and becomes a habit, that just saying no is a full, complete sentence. So really the practical way to do that is to practice. Sometimes you're going to need to practice in the mirror to yourself. Practice. Maybe it's to saying to good friends, practicing there. Maybe it's actually having an event that comes up and it doesn't serve you, you don't have time, whatever that looks like, say no. And it's okay. And just walk away. Just turn around and walk away. Allow that feeling of standing up for yourself, but your own self-confidence. You're serving yourself authentically, and you're serving yourself in the way that will boost yourself up rather than weigh you down. You're going to go from starting to feel more burnout in life and being a mom and moving forward into an authentic, more blissful place. You're going to be that leading lady because you're no longer going to feel that burnout. The 3 of these tips also help stop burnout. You're not only stepping into your leading lady life, but you're stopping your burnout on the back end because you're knowing your limits, you're knowing your expectations, and you're knowing exactly what is good for your soul and what serves you and what doesn't serve you. So you're now defining yourself and what that looks like instead of living by society's definitions, the world's definitions, cultural definitions, whatever that is in your life of whatever title and role that you play. You're defining what those are to you. They're not defining you, and you have to play to those. I think it's one thing that we get mixed up a little bit in that saying, you're a mom, you have to do all of these things. You want a career, you've got to do all of these things. But if you want to do both, you have to do everything. And you have to be good at all of those roles. And if you're not good at one thing, then the whole tower comes tumbling down, which isn't true, which is not, which is something I bought into for a long time. It's taken me these 6 years to get over buying into that feeling and that thought process of, if I'm failing at maybe it's cooking at home that I'm not the greatest at it all the time, but if it's that time that I'm failing, then I'm never going to be good at anything else. No, that's one thing. Maybe that doesn't serve me in that moment, and that's okay. It doesn't have to serve me all the time, but it doesn't mean I'm failing as a mom, as a woman, as an entrepreneur. None of that. It doesn't mean I'm failing. To break down those barriers and to break down those thoughts of saying, no, that doesn't define me and tell me that I'm failing. I'm going to define it and how it works in my life and how it's going to serve me in my life. That I'm not letting it define exactly who I am and what I should be. I'm defining how it's going to be in my life, because everybody's definition for every role that we play is different. And just like any word, we hear words and we understand words differently, and we all have a different meaning for them. We've talked about that in past episodes, but each role that we play defines us differently, and we want to define it differently and how it works in our lives and how it benefits us, because some things just don't feel authentic to us. Some things just don't feel like they fit into what mold we're in, and that's okay. Not everything has to fit. That's where our community comes in. That's where our significant others come in, your spouse, your partner, your family, your friends. That's where that community comes in to help build up those things that just don't seem to fit or fit awkwardly in ourselves. And taking those 3 steps of dating yourself and taking a break and just saying no are going to help you find those things that feel more awkward, feel more uncomfortable for you, that don't serve you well. And know that everybody is doing the same thing. There are things that serve me that not necessarily will serve you, and that's okay. But that's how we're meant to be in each other's lives. What you have, I need, and what I have, you need, to build each other up and to make this one collective strong womanhood, and women in general who are strong and free in their motherhood because they are strong women, that they're not weighed down and burnt out by every role that they play. And if this is something that speaks to you, please, please, please hop on a 20-minute it's free discovery call with me. If this is something that serves you, something you want to dig into, I want to be able to help you step into that leading lady life that you have, and that leading lady role that you can play in your life. And I know it's there. It's just going to take a little bit of practice. Please let me know, chat with me, email me at mallory@beautifully blooming.com with any feedback, questions, DM me on Instagram at Mallory McGary with anything. I would love to hear your thoughts, your wins, because I love to celebrate with everybody. I do love a good party. So having a party, I'd love to have one of those with you. Just love to chat with you and get you into that place where you feel like you can be a woman and a mom at the same time, and that you are authentically built upon a strong foundation that is authentic to you, that you can serve your everything that you have and give it to the world without having the fear of opinions and judgments or imposter syndrome or comparison theory. Get rid of all of those negative thoughts and stand strong and shine bright like that leading lady that you are. You are listening to the Mindset Bloomcast with Mallory. I am your host, Mallory McGary. You can find me at beautifullyblooming.com. Email me at mallory@beautifullyblooming.com. You can find me on Instagram at Mallory McGary. You are listening to the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, radio, TV, and podcasts, the #1 internet talk network. I hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. I'm so glad that you joined me today, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.